Kenshin1913 along with
Dennis.
Rob.
and today is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. What are we making today, Dennis?
Yellow rice.
Ooh.
Sound Asian.
So we're making yellow rice. Here are the ingredients. 1 chopped white onion,
Mm-hmm.
a roasted red bell pepper,
Yep.
2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. It's going to be 3 cups of white long grain rice.
Yes.
And Sazon.
Now what is Sazon?
It's some saffron, and Sazon is it's a mixture of a bunch of different spices. If you don't have that, you could use a couple of different things. If you could find some turmeric, you could use turmeric or achote powder. You find that, and it's pretty much 2 tablespoons to about 3 cups of rice.
Okay.
You could use 3 tablespoons if you want.
And you can probably find this in the Spanish section of your grocery
Yes,
store, so they
absolutely.
will have
or
that.
the spice section.
Yeah. So let's get moving. So we got ourselves this hot pan that we're getting ready to
Yep.
use.
Exactly.
And also one other thing, Dennis, we forgot to mention was
pigeon peas.
pigeon
You could
peas.
use red beans or any kind of beans you want.
Yeah.
I prefer these ones.
Mm-hmm. So we gotta get our oil, our
We got our pot nice and hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna put a little bit of canola oil at the bottom. You could use olive oil or vegetable oil if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really matter for me. Just enough to coat the bottom. You don't need a whole lot. If you put too much, your rice gets too soggy. So get it all mixed around in there, and I'm gonna throw in my onions, get those going.
Now we've roasted these peppers already, we've roasted the peppers. So basically, we're going to be doing kind of the same thing, or roasting them basically the same way we did with the quesadillas.
Yes.
Or you can just buy them roasted.
You could buy a jar roasted, and they're just as good.
So we're gonna let the onions get really nice and brown, right?
Yeah, we're gonna
Caramelize them.
caramelize them a tiny bit. Turn brown.
Mm-hmm. So Dennis, where did you learn how to make this this recipe?
My mom taught me this.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Puerto Rico, and this is how she taught me.
Yeah. Now your mom does it a little bit different than you do, right?
Yeah, and that's with any recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make it your own.
Good.
The onions are pretty caramelized. I'm going to throw in the garlic. Throw in the garlic after because it cooks faster.
Mm-hmm. Plus, if you burn the garlic,
Yeah, it gets
really
bitter. You don't want to
Yeah.
have bitter garlic.
There's really nothing you can do after you burn garlic.
Except for start over.
Mm-hmm. Now you just add the garlic and the red peppers.
Yep. And once again, you could add celery to this. You could add carrots if you want. I've seen people use.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, because we're going to use
We got 3 cups of
3
rice.
cups of rice,
Yeah.
I'm going to add 3 of these packages of Sazon. Probably only need 2.5,
Mm-hmm.
but just make it easier. Just 1 for 1. I'm going to stir that around. Get it all mixed up with all this stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dennis, with the rice when you're cooking, it's usually 1-to-1. You said?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's I'm at the point where I don't even measure. Kind of
You just
get that
eyeball
feeling.
it.
So some people say it's 2
2 to
cups. Yeah, but I think I do 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll show you what I do. So now this is all cooking. We're gonna put in our rice. So that's about 3 cups of rice, maybe a little bit more. It's gonna make a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only feeding 2 people, you probably only need a cup of rice.
Yeah.
And that's still gonna be a lot.
Well, this is usually a big family kind of recipe kind of thing.
Yeah, we're gonna be feeding a few people today. So.
Yeah. So now you're kind of cooking the rice a little
I'm
bit.
cooking it a little bit, but pretty much getting the orange or the yellow
Mm-hmm.
mixed in so the rice gets nice and yellow.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I didn't know that you did with your rice, I didn't know that you put peppers in it. Now that I look at it,
Yeah, I do.
I always used to see all the yellow and then the beans.
Yep.
And I'm like,
You
God
could put,
damn, this
yep.
is good.
You could put chicken in it, pork. If you're a vegetarian, you don't have to put any of that stuff in it.
Yeah. That's what we talk about, options right here.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna put my can of pigeon peas in.
And we put them in even with the juice.
Yep, even with the juice. I think it gives a little bit of flavor. Mix that around, get that going.
Now, do you have any idea why they're called pigeon peas? Or
Not a clue.
Yeah, neither do I.
But we live in the technology age, so if you have a question, you could find it somewhere online.
Google it. As I tell everyone when they ask me shit that I have no
so
idea.
now, at this point, we're going to turn up the heat a bit. We're going to add...
What'd you have it on before?
At about medium.
Okay.
So, I got 1 cup going right now. Mix that around, so you're definitely going to need more. Here's about 2 cups. So yeah, maybe half a cup more.
Yeah.
Stir that around.
Yeah, it's looking good. And so then after this, you would probably just let it come to a boil, correct?
Yeah, what we're gonna do, we put a little bit more water. You just want the water to really cover the rice. You don't want to put too much water in. But you want it to cover the rice. So that was about 3.5 cups of water to 3 cups of rice. And this is the part where we're gonna find out how much salt we need. And we want to go slow with the salt because you don't want it to come out too salty. So we're gonna give this a little bit of a taste. So that needs salt.
Now, how would you know, like, that you would need salt? Because some people wouldn't know, and they would just
You
be like,
would
oh.
taste it, and if it tastes too bland, you would put the salt in. So, that's about a teaspoon of salt. We're going slow again because we don't want to put too much salt. So once that salt's in,
That's it.
that's it. So we're gonna give another taste. Tiny bit more. So now we're about two teaspoons.
And the whole thing is here is just make sure to taste it, and if it tastes good to you, you know,
Exactly.
Yeah. Then use less salt, or if you don't, I mean, I guess you don't have to use salt.
Exactly. You don't have to use salt.
Because those Sazon packets aren't really like salty, like some seasoning packets that you would get have a good amount, have a good amount of salt in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like bouillon is just basically beef broth with a crap ton of salt in it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Almost there. So about there's about 4 teaspoons of salt. But remember, this is a big dish. This is 3 cups of rice, which is going to feed a lot of people. So your measurements are going to vary.
Yeah, depending on how much rice and whatnot you're making.
Exactly. Yeah, just about there. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more. And so now we're going to bring our heat up to high. Because what we want to do is we want this water to start boiling. So we brought it up, the heat up to a boil to get the water to boil up. So now that a lot of that water has evaporated out, we're going to put our cover on. And here's the deal with rice. Once you put the cover on, lower it down, lower the heat down, and leave it alone.
Don't even open.
Don't start stirring it. Just let it do what it does. It's going to absorb all that moisture and get the rice nice and fluffy.
Now, how long would you say that it would have to stay like that for?
Want to check it about 10 minutes,
Okay.
and we'll show you how to stir it.
Okay.
You don't want to stir it too much. Just want to fold it over. After about, it's been close to 7 minutes, we're going to take and kind of do one of these numbers. Kind of fold the rice. You don't want to stir it. You want to fold it. But it's absorbing all that water pretty nicely. But you want the stuff on the bottom to come up for air too, or it will get too soggy.
And this is the best way to get those delicious crunchies in the when you're done making this, where everything on the bottom and on the edges is going to be nice and crispy.
Yes.
So Dennis, what's the most amount of rice you've ever made before, like in one pan? Have you ever made more than 3 cups?
No, 3 is
The max you would go on that?
3 is the max I've gone. It's like I said, 3 cups is going to feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's how you want to stir it. You want to put the cover back on. We actually lower the heat a tiny bit. Now we can come back in 10 minutes. So after that stir, I'm going to do it one more time, just kind of fold it over. But the rice is pretty much done. I'm going to remember to take the stuff in the middle out, down at the bottom, kind of fold it over. So this has about probably 5 more minutes, and the only reason I'm going to put it for 5 more minutes is just so that the bottom rice could get kind of crunchy. Because that's Big Rob's favorite part. But that's pretty much your done deal for the rice.
All right, look at the yellow rice right here.
Still steaming.
Steaming hot.
Pigeon peas,
It's
roasted
delicious.
peppers,
Onions, garlic.
deliciousness.
Let's have some. Should we get everything? I want a bean.
A little pepper. Oh yeah.
It's still hot.
Oh yeah. Rob blew on mine. Damn, this is good. I just like the, I really like the beans in it. Like, I've never had these beans before until Dennis made it for us one time. And I was like, oh, what are these beans? And then I ate it and I'm like, that's fucking delicious. So, yeah, it's just really good rice. And I want to thank Dennis and Rob again for being in this episode. So this has been another...
Thank you, Pete.
No, thank you for being in it, Dennis. You're the man. And Rob, you're the man because he was cutting behind the scenes.
It's alright.
So this has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913. I have been P. This guy's been Dennis.
I'm always Rob.
And he's always Rob. See ya.
Up
Until next time.